away, and we're hoping it's going to stay exactly like that for the rest of this weekend. We already know the identity of the champion for Porsche Carrera Cup Germany. Lauren Heinrich sealed the title at Sachsenring last time out, and very convincing it was too. But there is still plenty more to play for. We have the Pro-Am Championship. Jan-Erik Sloten and Carlos Rivas are going head-to-head. It's Sloten at the top of the point standings, 18 points ahead of Carlos Rivas. And in the Rookie Championship, Lorcan Hannafin leads Huub van Eindhoven by just 6 points. The Team Championship goes the way of SSR Huber Racing. They have sealed that one as well. That was done at Sachsenring. So our focus very much on Pro-Am and Rookie Championships, but it is all still very much to play for. The car at the front of the queue there, the number 4 of Luc Hartog. He was quickest yesterday in free practice. He was buzzing about that, and he sees himself very much as a contender as he looks to get his first win in Porsche Carrera Cup Germany. Of course, with the main championship title now decided, a lot of drivers is gloves off racing to get that win. As we ride on board with Dylan Pereira and the duck on the dashboard leading the way for Iron Force Racing by Phoenix. We are at the Hockenheimring, as already mentioned. It is a circuit that is 4.574 kilometers around, which equates to 2.842 miles, 17 turns, 9 to the right and 8 to the left. This qualifying session is 35 minutes in length. The driver's fastest time is clearly very important because that will decide the grid for race 1 of the weekend. The driver's second fastest time is also of great importance because that will determine the grid for race 2, which will be tomorrow afternoon, the final race of the season. Riding on board with Huub van Eindhoven for GP Elite. Of course, he made the move from Porsche Carrera Cup Benelux into Carrera Cup Germany this year and has been very impressive. He has those 255 points in the Rookie Championship. That is not Raffaele Marciello, as the screen may have said. He's just put the car in pole position for GT Masters, so that's another story. Huub van Eindhoven is the car that we're riding on board with. Some great angles off the side of the car. And Huub van Eindhoven will be the driver who is trying to chase down Lorcan Hannafin, the British driver who leads the rookie standings. That is the driver who's chasing in the Pro-Am category, the defending Pro-Am champion, Carlos Rivas, in the Black Falcon Porsche. Now, he has been closing in on Jan-Erik Sloten. He had a great time at Sachsenring, which would make up for Lausitzring. We try not to mention that to him because he had a torrid time at Lausitzring. It allowed Jan-Erik Sloten to really extend his lead in the Pro-Am Championship standings. But Carlos Rivas clawed an awful lot of it back at the Sachsenring, which was back at the end of September, about a month ago. And now we ride on board with Jan-Erik Sloten, the championship leader in the Pro-Am category. Carlos Rivas has owned the Pro-Am title for the last few years. He is the most successful Pro-Am driver in the history of Porsche Carrera Cup Germany. He is the defending champion, but Sloten is the man who's looking to rain on his parade and win the championship. Just 18 points between them. Of course, the drivers scoring within their category. So you have the overall race, you have the Pro-Am race within that, and the rookie race within that too. So potentially 25 points available for a win in the Pro-Am category. And that's exactly what Sloten will be looking to do. This qualifying session will be critical. These cars, the Porsche 911 cars, are all identical, and they will be very, very hard to overtake each other. So getting a good grip position for both races is critical. We're riding on board with Luc Hartog, using an awful lot of the track, flashing the lights as he comes along the pit straight. He's gone purples in sector 1 and 3. You'd expect that because he's one of the first cars to put in a competitive lap. We will see the times come tumbling. Currently at 1:44.125, and that's Ahmed Al-Shihab. He's had a bit of a moment. So Al-Shihab has spun, and it looks as though he doesn't look like he has collected anything out onto that very soggy grass. needs to keep it moving. He does that. So Ahmad Al-Shihab rejoins the circuit. Looks like no damage done, and he continues on his way. Clearly that lap will not be of any use. Let's have a look at a replay here, and just the back end stepping out. A little lack of traction there. The track has been washed thoroughly clean overnight. Lots of rain and not a lot of rubber down, and a grip clearly at a premium. As we continue to look at Luke Hartog at the top of the standings, the man who is brimming with confidence at the moment, looking to take his first win. But Lorcan Hannafin, purple in Sector 1 as he turns the heat up on the number 9 FAC Autotech Porsche. Now, one of the issues, it's an ongoing story, always is every season, track limits. Already we've had a number of times cancelled due to exceeding track limits in turn 1. Car 8, 28, 22 and 98. So that would be Alex Fack, that would be Lucas Grunewald. Car 33, also with a time disallowed. That is one of our guest drivers. We'll tell you about that in a bit. But we're riding on board with Lorcan Hannafin. That's what we're focusing on at the moment. A purple in Sector 1, a purple in Sector 2. So Hannafin looking very quick indeed as he looks to move up the timesheets. Of course, he scored his first podium last time out at Sachsenring. And out onto the pit straight comes Lorcan Hannafin, using an awful lot of the runoff area on the exit of the final turn. He crosses the line, breaks the beam at 140.882. So a great lap from Lorcan Hannafin. Bastian Boost pops up into second, but Lorcan Hannafin, the first into the 140s, a driver who is just getting better and better every time we see him. The overall podium in the overall race last time out for third place at the Sachsenring really has lifted his spirits, and he is looking good for a start towards the front of the grid as Dan Van Kuik locks up going into the corner and then loses it. And what do we say? The grip very much at a premium. Again, he avoids hitting anything, but he's able to rejoin. But Dan Van Kuik having a bit of a moment. Looking at Lucas Oertel just weaving to get heat into the tyres. He had a big off in free practice yesterday, and a lot of work had to be done on that car. There is our new champion, Laurin Heinrich, complete with the gold livery in celebration of becoming Carrera Cup Germany champion 2022. He's got it sealed with 2 races still to run this season, and Laurin Heinrich going out wide and out onto the pit straight. And I have to tell you, out of turn 16 and 17, that is a very, very slippery runoff area because it is a part of the circuit that is used as a drag strip for some of the year, and there is zero traction there. It is like an ice rink. And if the drivers get out wide out of turn 16 and 17, quite often they end up becoming a passenger and heading to the scene of the accident at high speed. On board with Lorcan Hannafin, currently the fastest driver. There are just 3 at the moment into the 140s. It's Lorcan Hannafin who leads the way at 140.761, so he continues to improve. Dylan Pereira, yes, that is how you pronounce it, 140.784 in second, and Bastian Boost at 140.821 in third. Laurin Heinrich, our champion, currently down in sixth at 141.145. Looking down at the hairpin, one of the FAC Autotech cars going very wide around the corner there. And now Bastian Boost, one of the absolute up-and-coming superstars in Porsche Carrera Cup Germany. He's been turning the heads, and he certainly has been doing so not just in Carrera Cup Germany, but in Porsche Mobil 1 Super Cup, where he's taken a couple of wins as well. He took his first win in Carrera Cup Germany at Imola this year, and he is an absolute superstar who backs off for nobody for Allied Racing. Bastian Boost, purple in Sector 1, which means he's the quickest of anybody. Green in Sector 2, which means that is a personal best. Let's see how he does as he continues in the final sector, and can he improve? A 140.761 is the benchmark at the moment. So out of the final corner he comes to cross the line. And Bastian Buus goes quickest. So Bastian Buus at 140.716. And that bumps Lorcan Hannafin down 2 places because Larry Tenforder also jumping up there, the outgoing champion, as we look again at Dan Van Kuyk, getting it wrong, under braking, locking up and spinning around. Larry Tenforder, outgoing champion, up into P2, and it was Lorcan Hannafin who was running wide at the hairpin. We saw that from up above. The FAC Autotech car into that tricky corner, and it is the trickiest corner, and he's into the pits now to change the flat-spotted tyres and to give it another go. We have 25 minutes remaining of this session, and it is Bastian Buus who is currently leading the way, a 140.716. There's nobody who's putting in purple times at the moment, but that is all likely to change as we look at Carlos Rivas, currently the fastest in the Pro-Am category and 24th overall. And talking to him earlier, he just says, I need to just bring the thing home, not get involved in any dramas and score maximum points. Jan-Erik Sloten is currently 2nd in the Pro-Am category, 25th on the track, and Zoran Spreng is 3rd in the Pro-Am category, currently 26th out on the track. We look at Carlos Rivas, in my opinion, the best livery you've ever seen on a racing car. If you ever get the chance to see that one close up, it's worth a look. And there is a close-up look of the driver, Carlos Rivas, focused, keeping out of trouble, moving it up the pack, and looking as that is Ghislain Cordial. And I said we're going to mention them, and we haven't done yet. So Ghislain Cordial, the number 22 car, and he has spun around. He's got out onto the grass. There is no traction to be had out there. Guesting here at Hockenheim this weekend, Ghislain Cordial was 2nd in Porsche Carrera Cup Benelux. He was last in Porsche Carrera Cup Germany back in 2018 for MRS Racing. He's here for ID Racing, of course, a team that has come out of MRS. And I beg your pardon, Ghislain Cordial is for Team GP Elite. He was 3rd in Porsche Benelux because I'm getting mixed up with Glenn van Parijs. He's the driver who's 2nd in Porsche Carrera Cup Benelux, and he is also racing here for ID Racing this weekend. So 2 drivers from Benelux joining us. That car there, the number 22, Ghislain Cordial for Team GP Elite. He was 3rd in Carrera Cup Benelux and 2nd Glenn van Parijs in Porsche Carrera Cup Benelux. He returns to Carrera Cup of Germany for the first time since 2018 in the number 45 car there. We got there in the end, didn't we? So great to welcome both of those drivers here for this weekend as guest drivers. Also, Kai Pfister rejoins us as well. He is a regular visitor for HRT Performance in the number 65 car, and he is running in the Pro-Am category. This looks like Lauren Heinrich coming into the pits. There's the aforementioned Raffaele Marciello parked up in the opposite direction. Excuse me, into the pit lane. Still 22.5 minutes remaining of this qualifying session. So, Heinrich into the pits and tyre changes, getting ready for the big push. Many of the drivers having got a banker lap out onto the board, and now there is that gap before they will all come back out on the track. There are still quite a few that are still circulating at the moment. It's Bastian Buus who leads the way, a 140.716. There is confirmation of the driver classification. There are just 50 points available this weekend, which is why we can say that Lauren Heinrich is the champion already. The outgoing champion, Larry Tenforder, with 52 points. And he cannot catch that leader, as can Dylan Pereira, who is 57 points adrift. Bastian Buus, our current pole sitter, is 4th in the points standing. That is the view of the Iron Force Racing by Phoenix team, working away from the perspective of Jan-Erik Sloten, the driver who's looking to take his first ever Pro-Am title in Porsche Carrera Cup Germany. And there is Bastian Buus, the young driver who has turned so many heads in his 2nd season in Carrera Cup Germany. Absolute superstar in the making. The yellow duck has gone checkered for this year on the number 19 Allied Racing Porsche. But he currently is the fastest driver. To remind you, it is the fastest time and the driver's second fastest time that count. Fastest time determining the grid for this afternoon's race. Second fastest time determining the grid for tomorrow's afternoon's race. So looking from the perspective of Iron Force Racing by Phoenix, I do believe that's Jannik Slotin. It's hard to tell from this angle, but into the pits at the moment, that gap at the moment, while we wait for the clock to tick along, and then in the last closing moments, the track is going to get quicker and quicker as the air temperature rises and more rubber lays down on the track. It's time to duck and roll. Indeed it is for Bastian Buus, currently the fastest man and a definite champion in waiting. He is, of course, very much the man on a mission in Carrera Cup Germany, looking to push forwards. He can't win a championship this year. I wouldn't count him out of being a contender for next year, though. So we ride on board with Larry Tenfjord, the driver who has been so successful, one of the most successful drivers in Carrera Cup history, certainly the most successful in Porsche Carrera Cup Germany history. Larry Tenfjord, he has 2 titles. Unfortunately for him, 2022 is not going to be adding to that. He is the outgoing champion for Team GP Elite, and he continues to attempt to improve on his 140.753. So he is just 0.037 behind Bastian Buus. Larry Tenfjord looking to improve, but we're expecting the track to get faster and faster as this session progresses, as the air temperature rises, as more and more rubber gets laid down, and we would expect to see the times potentially tumbling down. Larry Tenfjord with a fair bit of space out on the track at the moment. He did have a lap cancelled a little while ago for exceeding track limits, and it's turn 1 is the spot where the drivers are being mostly caught out. Of course, turn 1 is a very fast corner and it's so easy to run wide. Track limits could well determine grid positions or indeed finishing positions this weekend. The drivers need to stay within those track limits, especially turn 1. Also turn 11 is another area of the circuit where track limits can be an issue. We're right with Larry Tenfjord at the moment, red in sector 1. That means that it is not quicker than anybody else, but it's not too far off. A 22, just looking to see what is the best. 21.889 is the quickest in sector 1. Luke Hartog, driver who is looking to improve, and that 21.889, that is where it's come from. So Luke Hartog turning the heat up. He is a driver who has newfound confidence in the Black Falcon Porsche. Sector 1, purple, means he's quicker than anybody else. How's he going to do in sector 2? At the moment, the quickest in sector 2 has been Larry Tenfjord, 46.411. Let's see what Luke can do. Well, not quite as quick, but he's not a million miles off, is he? So Luke Hartog, very much dialed in, very much looking to move up the order. Currently, Hartog's down in 11th. He needs to be very careful of those track limits. There is Luke Hartog, the driver from the Netherlands, who has been taking the Carrera Cup Germany by storm. He is the rookie champion last year, goes wide out of the final turn, crosses the line, and jumps up to P2. So good job from Luke Hartog. Has moved ahead, and as has Larry Tenfjord. So Tenfjord now the quickest. So Larry Tenfjord jumps up to the top of the timing sheets, and that slide out of turn 17 for Luke Hartog, potentially losing him some time as he heads out onto the pit straight. The number 4 Black Falcon car, though, coming back in second place, and it really was pushing the absolute limits. Luke Hartog still looking for that elusive first win in this series. Hoop van Eindhoven is another of the drivers in the talent pool, the drivers that are being coached and nurtured by Wolf Hensler. Out across the line, 2 personal bests. That takes him up to P6. So Huub van Eindhoven currently P6, his main rival in the Rookie Championship, Lorcan Hannafin, currently in 4th. So Hannafin, the fastest of the rookies, and currently the leading driver in the point standings in the Rookie Championship as well. To remind you, there is just 6 points between Lorcan and Huub. So Huub looking to close in, Lorcan looking to tie this up as quickly as possible. The driver who is 3rd fastest in the rookie standings is Alex Tauscher, currently 7th overall. Carlos Rivas still leading the way in the Pro-Am category in 24th place. That is a great shot of Lorcan Hannafin. Good to have some cameras pointing at Lorcan for this event. A driver who has come into Carrera Cup Germany this year and has been so impressive. Also, Mobile One Super Cup as well. But Lorcan Hannafin took his first podium at the Sachsenring and looking to improve on that here and looking to tie up that rookie championship. It is between Lorcan Hannafin and Huub van Eindhoven. Alex Tauscher is 58 points behind in the rookie standing, so he is out of the running. And there are just 2 drivers in the Pro-Am category as well. Georgi Donchev, currently 3rd in the Pro-Am standings, 85 points adrift, so he cannot catch either. So, less than 15 minutes remaining. I would expect with 10 minutes on the clock for the track to suddenly get very busy. We just have half a dozen or so cars out on circuit at the moment, including that car there, Huub van Eindhoven, who is looking to improve. Currently in 6th place. And his sector times, well, in the last lap, hadn't improved, but now pushing again. Let's see where he can go, 22.1. So it's not a long way off, but it's certainly not his best in this session. So Huub van Eindhoven continuing to nibble away as the 29 car heads into turn 6, the hairpin, and that is the scene where many a controversy has happened in the past and many a controversy will no doubt happen in the future. A really tricky part of the circuit. Huub van Eindhoven giving it all he's got, looking to close in on the Lorcan Hannafin car. Currently Hannafin in that 4th place in the timing sheets. Huub van Eindhoven still pushing, 46.874 in sector 2, so quite a long way off where he really needs to be at the moment. So the number 29 car, run by GP Elite, the legendary team in Porsche Carrera Cup Germany. And then back into the pits. Huub van Eindhoven abandoning that lap and back into the pits. A little over 12.5 minutes remaining of this qualifying session for Porsche Carrera Cup Germany. The fastest time determining the grid for this afternoon's race. The 2nd fastest time determining the grid for tomorrow's afternoon's race is Larry Tenforder, who's currently the quickest of all, a 140.376. It's Loic Hartog, who is 2nd with a 140.487. So it's just a little over a 10th difference between 1st and 2nd. Bastian Boos is in 3rd, a 140.716, about 3/10 off the fastest time ahead of Lorcan Hannafin. Dylan Pereira, and a fairly quiet session by his standards at the moment, in 5th. And then Huub van Eindhoven in 6th place, a 140.813, about 4.5 off the fastest time. Carlos Rivas continuing to improve, 23rd overall and the fastest of the Pro-Am drivers. His main rival, Jan-Erik Sloten, 25th overall and 2nd in the Pro-Am standings. So Jan-Erik Sloten has the luxury of being able to just pick up consistent points this weekend. And if he can finish behind Carlos Rivas in both races, he can tie up the championship. But Carlos Rivas will be looking to do all that he can to successfully defend his title in the Pro-Am category. Back into the pits comes Carlos Rivas. Currently 5 cars out on the circuit, and a bit of a gap at the moment. In a minute or two, I think the circuit is going to get very busy because all the drivers have a banker lap on the board. They're all going to be back out and looking to push to get that fast time. Right, here we go. It's starting to get busy. Drivers finding space out on the track, that is going to be a challenge because with much of the field coming out, in fact, Harold Prochik just coming in, but as many of the cars are now coming out, the drivers need to find a little bit of a gap where they're not going to trip over another car to put in that hot lap. And out they come out of the pits. A whole queue of cars currently streaming out onto the circuit. Harold Prochik coming in for a tyre change. Been great to welcome Harold Prochik to the grid of Carrera Cup Germany. Last time we saw him here at Hockenheim, he was racing in the ADAC TCR Germany series and a multiple winner in that series, now appearing in Carrera Cup Germany. And it has been great to welcome him here to the grid here this year in 2022. I hope we're going to see him again next year. The clown on the car, very distinctive indeed. Right, here comes Lorcan Hannafin, currently 4th overall, currently the fastest of the rookies. Looking as cool as anything. Lorcan Hannafin, the British driver for FAC Autotech, out onto the circuit. He's going to have a lap to get heat into the tyres. Of course, tyre warmers not allowed in Carrera Cup Germany. Get everything up to temperature, and then it's going to be the big push with less than 10 minutes remaining. The drivers need 2 quick laps. 1 for the grid today, 1 for the grid tomorrow. And then this session will be over. The last qualifying session of 2022 for Porsche Carrera Cup Germany. And it is the final 9 minutes of qualifying this year. Of course, when the clock strikes 0, any drivers that are on the lap are able to continue and complete that lap, and it will count. But it is now the critical part of the session. So Prochik, a very quick tyre change for him and back out on circuit. Look how crowded it is. Out of the pit exit they come, and that is Prochik who comes out to join the circuit just out of turn 1. And then a fairly tricky part around turn 3 and 4, and then it's absolutely flat out around a section of the track called the Parabolica, which is turn 5. It's called turn 5, but I don't see him lifting for it. And then it's up to turn 6, heavy braking towards the hairpin where the cars do a complete 180. And you can see there, that is the hairpin, and it really is a tight corner. And then back down, flat out towards turn 7. So riding with Harold Prochik in the number 20 car for HP International, currently 22nd overall. Ahead of him, Ahmad Al-Shihab, a driver who has a massive following in Q8 and is very a popular addition to the grid here in Porsche Carrera Cup Germany. So banker lap, getting the heat into the tyres, getting everything up to temperature. We're going to have one eye on the race control screen as well, because there have been a number of laps that have been discounted. I would say probably about 12 laps that have been discounted by various drivers for exceeding track limits. The latest to be added to that is car number 5. So Zoran Spreng has just had his lap discounted for track limits at turn 1. But finding that space, the next 7 minutes, critical. The final qualifying session of 2022 for Porsche Carrera Cup Germany. Qualifying for races 15 and 16 of this 16 race season. And it's Larry Tenford, a 140.376 that they're all trying to catch. Luke Hartog out on circuit with a 140.487, looking to improve on that. Our quickest in the Pro-Am category is now Zoran Spreng. So car number 5 has jumped up the timing screens ahead of Carlos Rivas, but he has been flagged up with a cancellation of the time because of track limits, and I don't know if that was the lap that he's just done, so we'll keep an eye on that to see if he drops back down again. But at the moment, Zoran Spreng is quicker than Carlos Rivas in the Pro-Am category. Dylan Pereira also for Iron Force Racing by Phoenix. And Pereira currently in 5th place. He is 4/10 off the fastest time. So on board with Dylan Pereira, a driver who was very much in contention for the championship all season long, but maybe lost a little bit of his mojo as the season progressed, picked up a few penalties and fell by the wayside, but looking to finish this season off on a high. And of course, he is the new Porsche Mobil 1 Super Cup champion. And that is a title that he has been looking for, and he sealed this year as we look at a great slow-mo of Larry Tenforder for Team GP Elite, using every part of the track that he can. Currently the fastest car on the track, Larry Tenforder, still fastest overall on 140.376. Nobody improving massively at the moment. I can't see any purple sectors coming in. So it's still Tenforder from Luke Hartog as we head into the final 5 minutes of this qualifying session. Finding that space. There's Maurice Schuring, we just seen bumping out of turn 17. I haven't seen much of him today. He's been fairly quiet, down in 11th place in the number 14 car. Also Rudy Van Buren, another driver who has entertained us all season long. The number 57 car, currently 10th. He's just jumped up ahead of Maurice Schuring, but a 140.934, so he's got a fair bit that he needs to find. Green means that he's set a personal best in Sector 1, as has Bastian Boost, but not fastest overall. So they continue to improve, of course, hooking up good sectors in 1, 2 and 3, critical for getting to the front of the pack. And we're riding now with Bastian Boost, currently 3rd at 140.543. So what can he do to improve on that? He is going quicker, not quickest out of everybody overall, but getting 3 personal bests might move him up the grid. We're going to find out in a few moments. Bastian Boost in the final stages of this lap, as he heads out towards turns 16 and 17, out onto the pit straight. Let's see whether Bastian Boost can improve on his 3rd place. Rudy Van Buren hasn't. Bastian Boost has. Bastian Boost to the top of the timing screens once again, getting the car up onto 2 wheels. He bumps across the curb, so it just goes to show you don't need to do purple sectors to get to the top. You just need to do lots of personal bests and hook them together in 1 lap. So Bastian Boost, a 140.263. Larry Tenforder needs to find a 10th from somewhere. Red in Sector 2 is not really what he's looking for, so Larry Tenforder going to be looking for a miraculous Sector 3. Rudy Van Buren hasn't improved either, but now Larry Tenforder on board with him into the final section. Out of the last corner, across the line comes Larry Tenforder, and he goes quicker still. So despite a couple of reds, i.e. not the personal best or overall best, Larry Tenforder has hooked it up. He goes back to the top. So there is absolutely nothing between them. Larry Tenforder, a 140.236. Bastian Boost, a 140.263. So Tenforder and Boost, suddenly Pereira has turned up the heat as well, a 21.985. That's very quick in Sector 1. It is a personal best for him. So Dylan Pereira now looking to challenge at the top of the timing screens. Meanwhile, the fastest Pro-Am is Carlos Rivas once again. So he's jumped up. Georgi Donchev is 2nd in the Pro-Ams. But our eyes are on Dylan Pereira as he hustles that car, and he goes purple in Sector 2, quickest of anybody. So Dylan Pereira in the closing stages, just 2 minutes of this session remaining. Pereira, who's currently 9th in the timing, now looking to improve. Surely this is going to be a massive improvement. It could even be quickest overall. He crosses the line, and Dylan Pereira is 4th, so he hasn't managed to hang it together in the closing stages. But Dylan Pereira moving up the pack. Huub van Eijhoven, quickest of anybody in Sector 2. So Van Eijhoven isn't done yet. He is now the quickest rookie. So Lorcan Hannafin, while we've been watching the cars At the top of the timing screens, Hannafin has dropped down. He is 9th overall and 3rd in the rookie standings, but he's not done yet. So Lorcan Hannafin trying to come back, but Huub van Eindhoven, great job from him. He's currently 6th, looking to improve on that. He continues, still weaving, trying to get heat into the tyres. Behind them, Lucas Oertel, but Huub van Eindhoven, great lap from him. Looking at a replay, and that is why that lap wasn't an improvement. He went really wide out of turn 16 onto the slippery stuff. And there is Luke Hartog, the driver who has been bothering the top of the timing screens all session long. Currently putting in sectors that are not quickest of anybody at the moment. But Hartog currently in 3rd place overall. It's Larry Tenforder who's quickest. Bastian Boos, I don't think Hartog's going to improve here with this one. He crosses the line, and Luke Hartog remains in P3. Bastian Boos in P2, and Larry Tenforder currently the quickest, and Hartog locking up a wheel into the corner, going deep, and that will not have done his tyres any favour. He's not going to get back to the line for the clock striking 0, so Hartog is not going to improve on that time. So Luke Hartog, 3rd, is the best that he's going to manage overall. And there is Larry Tenforder. Well, he's looking cheerful, and maybe he can see that this one is signed and sealed. Larry Tenforder at the top, and you can see how delighted he is. He is quickest overall. He finishes the season in his customary style at the top of the timing screens. Bastian Boos, who has been so competitive all season long, he took the fight to Larry Tenforder in this qualifying session, but P2 is the best that he can manage. Carlos Rivas is the fastest of the Pro-Am drivers. And there's a bit of smoke there where somebody has locked up just in front of Carlos Rivas. But he is the fastest of the Pro-Am drivers. Georgi Donchev 2nd, Zoran Spreng 3rd. Jan-Erik Sloten down 28th, 4th in category. So Jan-Erik Sloten has not done what he needed to do to get this thing put to bed. And Carlos Rivas has a bit of breathing room between himself and his championship rival. That makes for a very exciting weekend as we look at the Pro-Am category. Our fastest rookie is Huub van Eindhoven. So Lorcan Hannafin, having led the rookies for so long on the timing screens, is now 3rd overall in the rookie standings within this qualifying session. So it hasn't ended well. Lorcan Hannafin, the number 9 car, 9th overall on the timing screens. Great job from Glenn Van Parijs. Whilst we've been chatting away, he has nipped up into 8th place. Alex Tauscher, the 2nd fastest of the rookies, in 7th. And it's Huub van Eindhoven, who is the quickest of the rookies. So both the drivers that are 2nd in the championships that are still open are ahead of the championship leaders. That is Carlos Rivas, who is ahead of Jan-Erik Sloten in the Pro-Am category, and Huub van Eindhoven, who is ahead of Lorcan Hannafin in the rookie category. This is going to go all the way to the end. The driver who steals the headlines, overall quickest, the legendary Larry Tenforder, the driver who is the most successful in Porsche Carrera Cup Germany history, looking to finish this season off on a high as the fastest car. 140.236. Bastian Boos, well, he took it all the way, didn't he? Just 0.027 off Larry Tenforder. Ahead of Luke Hartog, still a good P3 from him. Dylan Pereira, Lauren Heinrich, the brand new champion, down in 5th. A fairly quiet session by his standards. Huub van Eindhoven in 6th, ahead of Alex Tauscher. The visiting Glenn Van Parijs, and then Lorcan Hannafin. He's got a bit of work to do from there. Morris Schering, another driver a little bit quiet here this weekend, ahead of Jukka Honkavori. Rudy Van Buren, he's also a long way back, ahead of Jesse Van Kuyk. Ariel Levy, Lucas Oertel, and Alex Fack, also in the Rookie Championship, but no longer in contention for the title, is down in 16th. Gisela Codil in 17th place, Team GP Elite, ahead of Lucas Grunewald, Richard Wagner, Dan Van Kuyk, Carlos Rivas, fastest Pro-Am, ahead of Jan Seifert, Harold Prochik in 23rd. Good job from him, ahead of Sebastian Framer. Georgi Donchev and Zoran Spreng in 25th and 26th, ahead of Jonas Greif. Jan-Erik Sloten, whoa, he's got some work to do. Christoph Langer, Ahmed Al-Shahad and Kai Pfister, ahead of Holger Harmsen, who brings up the rear, but it's great to have Holger back on the grid, having been away with injury, and good to have him here at Hockenheim. Right, second best times, Larry Tenforder once again, Bastian Boost once again. Lauren Heinrich will start race 2 tomorrow, third. Loke Hartog will be fourth, ahead of Lorcan Hannafin, who will be fifth, so he will be the fastest in the Rookie in race 2. Dylan Pereira will be sixth, Huub van Eindhoven seventh, and Glenn Van Parijs eighth. Alex Tauscher will start 9th tomorrow. Maurice Schuring, Yuka Honkavori, Luke Zertel, Alex Fack, Rudy Van Buren, Ariel Levi, and Jesse Van Kuyk in 16th place. And around you, this is for tomorrow's grid. Richard Wagner, Lucas Grunewald, Jan Seifert, Dan Van Kuyk, and Gisela Codil, 21st. Carlos Rivas will start 22nd, ahead of Harold Prochik, Sebastian Framer, and Georgi Donchev. Jan-Erik Sloten again tomorrow. He will have work to do from 26. Zoran Spreng, Jonas Greif, Ahmed Al-Shahab, Christoph Langer. You saw the rest of them coming through. So races 1 and 2, the championship's very much alive. Third overall though, Loke Hartog for Black Falcon with a 140.487. Second overall, Bastian Boost. He will start second in both races for Allied Racing. The number 19 follow their checkered duck. Bastian Boost starting in P2. But the man who has stolen the headlines, he will be in pole position for both today's race and tomorrow's race. The outgoing champion, Larry Tenforder for Team GP Elite. So, a entertaining session for Porsche Carrera Cup Germany, and Larry Tenforder stamping his authority on this qualifying session. Join us this afternoon for the penultimate race of the season. We'll see you then.